Just a few days before the calendar turned to 2021, the U.S. Department of Agriculture and U.S. Department of Health and Human Services released the 2020 to 2025 Dietary Guidelines for Americans. This document is updated and published every 5 years, with the intention to present the most current scientific evidence about what people should eat and drink to promote health, meet nutrient needs and reduce the risk of chronic disease. And, with more than half of all adults in America challenged with a diet-related chronic disease, this is more important than ever. While following an eating plan, what the guidelines call a dietary pattern, based on this document is a safe and effective way to approach nutrition and long-term health and wellness. Be sure to talk to your doctor about any nutrient deficiencies or special requirements based on your specific health status. 1. They cover every stage of life, from infancy to old age. No matter your age, it is never too late or too early to begin eating healthfully. The guidelines feature dietary recommendations for all life stages: infants and toddlers, children and adolescents, adults, women who are pregnant or lactating, and older adults. The guidelines provide 3 frameworks that can be used as starting points from: you can eat more healthfully, the healthy US-style dietary pattern, the healthy Mediterranean-style dietary pattern, and the healthy vegetarian dietary pattern. Each of these can be modified to meet your specific needs and preferences. These guidelines should be viewed as an adaptable framework that can be modified to best support optimal health, rather than as a rigid set of instructions that outline exactly what foods, nutrients, food groups and quantities you should eat and drink. 2. They recommend nutrient-dense foods and beverages within calorie limits while accounting for personal preferences, cultural differences, and budgetary considerations. Nutrient-dense foods and beverages provide minerals, vitamins and other health-promoting elements with little or no added sugar, sodium or saturated fat. The guidelines include recommendations for food groups, vegetables, fruits, grains, dairy, protein foods and oils, that form the core elements of a healthy dietary pattern across each life stage. The challenge is to eat enough of these nutrient-dense foods while staying within appropriate calorie limits. Following a healthy dietary pattern does not allow much room for added sugars, saturated fat and sodium, but small amounts can be added to nutrient-dense foods and beverages to help attain food group recommendations. Most of the calories you need to eat each day, around 85%, are required to meet food group recommendations in a healthful way, leaving around 15% of your calories for less healthy choices. Using the guidelines, specific food and beverage choices can be made to support individual needs and preferences, while respecting the unique dietary practices of various cultures. The key is to start with your personal preferences, incorporate cultural traditions and be mindful of budgetary considerations. 3. They encourage true behavior change. The tagline for the 2020 to 2025 Dietary Guidelines for Americans is, "Make every bite count with the Dietary Guidelines," which reflects a shift in how this document addresses nutrition. Adopting and maintaining a healthy dietary pattern often feels like an overwhelming task that must be accomplished perfectly to be effective. However, in this most current version of the guidelines, an emphasis is placed on taking small steps each day and with each food and beverage choice to move toward a healthier and more enjoyable way of eating. You can view every meal or snack as an opportunity to make the most healthful choice. The guidelines suggest making healthy choices one day at a time and nutrient-dense choices one food at a time. Americans already consume too few carbohydrates in the forms of fruits, vegetables, grains, and legumes. Only 1 in 10 adults eats enough fruits and vegetables, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In fact, a study in JAMA attributed 52,547 deaths from heart disease, stroke, or type 2 diabetes in 2012 to consuming too few fruits and 53,410 deaths to consuming too few vegetables. Consuming too few whole grains was associated with 11,639 deaths from type 2 diabetes. Low-carb diets high in animal protein and fat have been linked to increased risk of type 2 diabetes and diabetes-like symptoms in healthy people: weight gain, atrial fibrillation, which is associated with a 5-fold increased risk for stroke and may lead to heart failure, and heart disease. Low-carb diets can also lead to early death. One study found that participants with the lowest intake of carbs had a 32% higher risk of all-cause death. The risks of death from coronary heart disease, cerebrovascular disease, and cancer were increased by 51%, 50% and 35%, respectively. Studies published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, The Lancet, and the Annals of Internal Medicine have also shown low-carb diets increase the risk of early death. fiber-rich carbohydrates should provide most of the calories in a healthy diet and are the main fuel for the brain and muscles. About 3/4 of daily calories should come from carbs. Studies show that a diet rich in healthy carbs from fruits, vegetables, grains and legumes can help prevent and reverse the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes and obesity. Dairy products are a leading source of saturated fat in the American diet. In fact, the guidelines recommend people avoid saturated fat because of its link to heart disease. Scientific evidence also shows that milk and other dairy products increase the risk of asthma, breast, ovarian, and prostate cancers, cognitive decline, and early death, and offer little if any protection for bone health. Dairy products also cause bloating, diarrhea, and gas in the tens of millions of Americans who have lactose intolerance, the natural progression of not breaking down sugar in milk. The National Institutes of Health estimates that 30 million to 50 million American adults are lactose intolerant, including 95% of Asian Americans, 60 to 80% of African Americans and Ashkenazi Jews, 80 to 100% of Native Americans, and 50 to 80% of Hispanics. In July 2018, the American Medical Association passed a resolution calling on the USDA and HHS to recognize that lactose intolerance is common among many Americans, especially African Americans, Asian Americans, and Native Americans, and to clearly indicate in the guidelines and other federal nutrition guidelines that dairy products are optional. Canada's latest food guide recommends that Canadians make water their drink of choice. Calcium is plentiful in beans, leafy green vegetables, tofu, breads, and cereals. Oranges, bananas, potatoes, and other fruits, vegetables, and beans are rich sources of potassium. Legumes and green leafy vegetables are excellent sources of magnesium. The natural source of vitamin D is sunlight, and fortified cereals, grains, bread, orange juice, and plant milks are dietary options. The risks of consuming processed meat, such as hot dogs, bacon, and deli meat, were clear when the current guidelines were published, and the evidence against them has continued to mount. In 2015, after 22 experts from 10 countries assessed more than 800 epidemiological studies, the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer classified consumption of processed meat as carcinogenic to humans Group 1, on the basis of sufficient evidence for colorectal cancer. The experts highlighted a meta-analysis that concluded that each 50-gram portion of processed meat, about one hot dog, eaten daily increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. Research shows that eating 50 grams of processed meat daily also increases the risk of breast cancer, prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, and overall cancer mortality. Studies show that processed meat also increases the risk of death from cardiovascular disease. A study published in JAMA found that processed meat consumption was tied to 57,766 deaths from heart disease, stroke, or type 2 diabetes in 2012. Other studies have linked it to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. A recent survey of nearly 44,000 US adults found that despite growing public health concerns about processed meat consumption, there have been no changes in the amount of processed meat consumed by US adults over the last 18 years. The authors suggest that findings of this study can inform public health policy priorities for improving diet and reducing chronic disease burden in the United States. Research shows that red meat also increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. A plant-based diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, is a great way to achieve good health. These foods are full of fiber, rich in vitamins and minerals, free of cholesterol, and low in calories and saturated fat. Eating a variety of these foods provides all the protein, calcium, and other essential nutrients your body needs. It's important to include a reliable source of vitamin B12 in your diet. You can easily meet your vitamin B12 needs with a daily supplement or fortified foods, such as vitamin B12 fortified breakfast cereals, plant milks, and nutritional yeast. Those who eat a plant-based diet lower their risk for heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and other health conditions.